Hey, what is up, guys? It's Metagames GX here, and we are going to be covering the other first place branded deck list as requested, because this weekend, Branded got two first place at two regionals this weekend, both of the regionals being over 100 players, so both of these are sizable tops, and this one was at the CoreTCG Remote Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional, which had actually a lot of really good players in it, including Worlds winner and multiple YCS toppers. So this is an impressive performance by Branded, and this is Branded Despia, not even Branded Dracotail, which goes to show that Branded can still perform in this day and age. So we don't have the pilot to talk about the deck with, however, I have the next best thing. I ended up corresponding with the winner, Annie, shout out to Annie Hoy, for winning this, and then also giving me all the insights into her build, because I wanted to see what the mindset of a branded player who's not playing branded Dracotail is, and how she took it to such great victory, because she played against 4 Yummies and 3 VS Canine. So this is a very standard build too. This is kind of something you would see on Master Duel almost. There's no lock, for instance, and it's below 50 cards, so no 60 card build. This is something that we saw with the list yesterday. If you guys want to check that out, link down in the description, of course, after this video. But I wanted to go over the choices that Annie made and why she made them, as I was able to get a lot of information out of our conversation about the build, so you guys can get a better understanding of this. So I'm going to go card by card, and then go into Annie's insights, and then go from there on, and then just overall thoughts on the list and Branded Despia. So of course there's 3 Aluber, just standard to the normal branded deck, 3 Albaz. We aren't running the Dracotail version, so I think that 3 Albaz is pretty good in this kind of build. We are running the 3 High Spirit anyways to convert them, and then 2 Cartesia, 2 Quem. I mean, 2 Quem just being a luxury in the being a very nice feature of the pure branded build. I can understand that. 1 Springen's Kits for playing around hand traps with the High Spirits line. Of course, you know, she saw Fuwalos a lot, so a lot of the time using High Spirits in that instance, I'm sure definitely helped. And then 1 Mercurier, 3 Shrouded Dragon, 1 Despian Tragedy, 1 Magnemite, 3 Bestial Saronir, 1 Lubellion. Of course, we're running the 3 High Spirits. She also did mention how she would use Branded and High Spirits as a board breaker into Yummy, because, of course, Herald only banishes monsters from the main deck, so, and from the hand, so you can still search your card, right, and then send a Titanclad to the graveyard, which is what she did a lot of the time against her Yummy opponents with the Branded and High Spirits. So I think maximizing on the Saronir, having the Magnemite, and then also having the Saronir and Magnemite for that Yummy matchup, I'm sure is very good as well. So she's running for the non-engine 3 Fuwalos, 3 Super Poly, 3 Book of Eclipse, which I really like too. I think these are, generally speaking, the best non-engine in Branded Despia, but she's not running the Triple Tactics Thrust, and I did ask her about that, and she's not running the Idol Lock either. So she didn't miss the Triple Tactics Thrust. She said, not really, even post-side going first, I got Ash, I didn't have my Thrust in my hand, neither did I draw into Fusion Duplication. I just make a small layered end board regardless, and it's still good enough. I might even consider my side options again now, but Duplication also seems useful because Branded Fusion's not the only thing you can banish. You can banish Super Poly and Deployment too. And she just prefers siding into the Thrust right now, which she is siding 1 Thrust plus the Fusion Duplication for those going first side patterns for the Mulcharmy Fuwalos. And I think Book of Eclipse is also, of course, just great for going first with Branded, so you can dodge Imperm or Valor, which is just all over the format, and then also going second, it's a pretty decent board breaker into all the top decks. And then 3 Fusion Deployment in you know, not the main deck Thrust. Once again, I just want to close on that. I mean, I do think that, you know, we've seen in the past Branded do well without Thrust. I think people have asked, is Thrust mandatory? I think it's very good in Branded, but I think you can always build Branded with correct ratios, and you can really just do whatever you want as long as the ratios work out and you have the correct meta choices into the current format. And it worked out perfectly for her. She didn't end up missing the Thrust, and then 3 Branded opening, and then 1 Branded red and 1 Branded white, 1 Branded lost, 1 Branded fusion, 1 talents, 1 called by, 1 foolish, 1 gold sark, and then 1 branded retribution. And she sided the fusion duplication. Of course, she said that she might end up, you know, whether it's maining it or just running more on the side, this is something to consider as well. But the 48 card build made it so that she wasn't really breaking or anything like that, so I do definitely appreciate that. She also wasn't running the lock, and she mentioned, I've never played the lock variant of Branded, so I can't answer that, unfortunately. I just really like summoning Mirror Jade a bunch of times. You could totally play a lock variant, though, this format, because I'm seeing a lot lot less Bestials. For the non-lock, yes, you have to have a layered end board. It's super important, even though your end board doesn't have an MJ. If you get hand trapped, and if it's layered, then you're having a Mirror Jade regardless, and it's just on your opponent's turn instead. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the time she wasn't even getting to do her full combo she mentioned. Because, for instance, she would get Fluid all the time, and if she had deployment, if it was on deployment, it would be pretty unfortunate. But elsewise, she would Branded Fusion into Albion and then use no effect to kind of just tribute over the Albion with the Lubellion, and then you could set the Branded in red in the end phase for her Fuelos line, since she wasn't playing the lock either. And then the reason why she didn't play Branded Dracotail would be, it's just a personal preference at the end of the day. I did do a bit of testing with Branded Dracotail, but it's more of a side grade, if anything, in her opinion. It feels amazing going second, but going first, I don't feel like the need to add more to Branded's end board. If anything, I just want to maintain consistency. Some also say it's another way to play through if you get Ash, but Branded can already play through Branded Fusion getting Ash, so I just feel like there's no need at all for this other engine. And I think if I did pilot a DT Branded list, it would probably be a going second list. DT cards are amazing for board breaking after all. So I just want to be fair to her because, you know, once again, I think Branded can be ran really any way. I do think the Dracotail cards personally are like a buff to Branded, but obviously I think Branded's still a great deck and can still do things into the meta. I think as long as you know what you're doing, and she brought such a down to earth kind of build, in my opinion. There's no lock, and it's very just like layered Branded. You're Renbrum looping Mirror Jade, and then like summoning Chimera, Borolo, Dracostapelia, Chaos Star Source on your opponent's turn, also while going into Quertus and Proskinion. And she wasn't running any super poly targets, and I did ask her about that, but she said it was amazing. Super poly targets aren't needed this format because of all the Justice Hunter decks have something you can super poly away, light, dark from extra deck, etc. With your monsters like VSK9 has Umbral Horror, Masquerade, Ripper, etc. K9 Christian has Infinity, SP, Yummy has Snatchy, Yummy Synchros, Arclight. Although I wouldn't recommend this, it's the least threatening. It's just better way to remove Yummy bodies because they can't respond to Super Poly, and therefore they can't tag out. DT has the Secretarion, I guess, and Dragons for you, haha, but depends on what DT variant you're going up against. So she just felt like she didn't really need the Mud Dragon or Garura and didn't miss it. And she played against all Yummy and VSK9, so I do think that this should be definitely noted for that reason, because that's remarkable. I mean, she was running the Proskinion, the Stapelia, so a lot of these things are already super poly targets. Also, you do have the Alba Lenatus, right? But you are going a little bit more neg on that, but it was just great for her because she still had the Fuelos, the Book of Eclipse to back her up on that, and she still mained the Talents without the Thrust just to draw it off of Fuelos, which I do like. I still think Talents is definitely worth it to run. It's just a god card for that reason. And so the extra deck, one Chimera, Borreload Furious, Chaos Star Source, one Stapelia, one Proskinion, one Quertus, only running one Guignol because there's no lock, but she gets the room for two Mirror Jade, which definitely probably comes up in this kind of build, and then two Albion, one Lubellion, one Titanclad, one Runbrum, and one Alba Lenatus. She said the Alba Lenatus was very, very good because it was another High Spirits target, because she really... it was really nice because she had the second High Spirits Dragon, is really convenient. I had to dump Titanclad and get Albion into rotation if I still wanted to revive my Cartesia. I couldn't High Spirits away in the end phase because Grang is already on the field, so I no longer have a target. But you can also see my deck is running so many main deck dragons with the 3x Lubellion, 3x Saronir for 48 count, so I would always use Lost to search another dragon like Albaz or Albion. So it's really consistent to even use High Spirits in the end phase, which I really like. That's actually a callback to some of our earlier combos on the channel when we were doing end phase High Spirits plays. And I really like how this build is, you have an insane extra deck grind game because you're able to run the Stapelia, which is just a great thing to make off of your Albaz in a grind game. Also, the Borreload Furious is another way to have a really dynamic on board with the Mirror Jade on top of the Stapelia. And then, you know, Quertus, Proskinion being fantastic super poly targets, but then also great to summon off the Guignol, even going second as a board breaker with High Spirits. So, you know, definitely be using High Spirits as more of a board breaker into these decks. And then the side deck, 3 Droll, 3 Lancia, 1 Thrust, 1 Feather Duster, 3 Raigeki, 2 Dark Ruler No More, 1 Cosmic Cyclone, and then 1 Fusion Dupe. So yeah, guys, this was Annie's deck list that she got first place at this CoreTCG regional with. Congratulations to her, very well done, and, you know, shout out to her for just repping Branded and, you know, putting the deck, you know, back on the map this weekend with Fernando, of course, because it's been a few weeks since we got top. We came out really strong in the beginning of the format, and this is just goes to show Branded's still incredible as long as you know what you're doing, you play correctly. And she also, I had asked her too about the time rules. And so only one of my games got really close under the new time rules. I had 1 minute left, but I was already in battle with lethal on board. So that one was pretty close, but overall most of my matches at least had 10 minutes left. Another was probably 3 to 4 minutes left. And then the quickest was 26 minutes left. And you guys got to realize a remote regional does have 5 extra minutes. So that one game went to time under normal circumstances, but of course you might be quicker in person. And she said, I remember watching Triff's new video about experiencing time rules and had to game one take 40 minutes, but he still finished the full match on time. He remarks about adrenaline just kicking in and you start playing faster and faster, and for both players, and that definitely happened here. And then also I asked her about what she did into the VS K9 board, because she played against 3 of those, so you guys can have a better understanding of how to use this deck list into the meta. We already went into the yummy, basically go one for, or try to out grind game them on advantage, but break their board with the Super Poly, the Book of Eclipse, and then also High Spirits. But then, against VS K9, the K9 engine is easily checked by Branded, so the only worry is VS, of course, because we really don't activate too many stuff in the hand, and the stuff we do activate in the hand, I don't really care it's getting ripped by Ripper. So the only worry is against Vanquished Soul, which generates a lot of advantage, but this matchup is won by overwhelming them because you just have so much to deal with. And you want to make them commit more to dealing with you, which will end up cutting off the attributes in their hand, which she really said was an important point. How you win the grind game against Vanquished Souls to cut off their attributes and make sure that their hands get awkward. You want to make them commit to more with to deal with you, which will end up cutting off the attributes in their hand. If Holy Sue is on board, if you are able to Mirror Jade first, like turn player priority action. And one of her opponents was turn player, but just passed prio back to me, and I just immediately shotgunned the Mirror Jade. And even if they chain Sue to summon or whatever, they summon is going to be banished immediately, and this was a great way to start stopping their resources. And if they decide not to use any effect, they lose the Sue instead. If they want to save the Sue and chain something else to summon and dodge it, now they are giving up potential different attribute in hand to get banished now instead. And it will definitely start falling apart if VSK9 starts lacking attributes, but they will start falling behind too much. So this is a very great insight in how to beat the VSK9 board with the Branded engine. I think this is useful for all variants of Branded, even the Branded Dracotail players. And people might ask me like, oh, am I just going to be running pure Branded after this? No, I think Branded Dracotail is the future of the deck, but I do think that this was a very incredible performance by Annie, and it shows that this deck's still great. Branded best deck, and you can run it any which way. You just need to know how to play the deck correctly. So I'm very much looking forward to the new card, and for the Dracotail card, and I might even try out Branded Despia at one of my locals here soon. I could see myself playing Branded Despia, especially. Annie even said she likes the new Branded Fusion coming out. It's great for the grind game and Interruption, so she'll be running it. And then whatever the other card is in the Branded Structure deck, hopefully it helps out the deck a lot. So yeah, guys, if you guys like this video, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Subscribe today. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Of course, click the join button today if you want to get into my members only classroom, get my exclusive deck list, and then also exclusive members only videos. And then also check out my website, metagamesgx.com, to pick up my Branded spreadsheet, which also has Dracotail combos, Mitsurugi combos, and it's updated every month with new combos and decks. And then also you can buy my shirts, my Yu-Gi-Oh branded playmat, and these are all great ways to support the channel and keep the party going here. So I do appreciate it. Love you guys. Stay safe. Have a good one.